Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Almighty God, we ask you to bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that in fulfilling their public trust, every deliberation will result in actions that will promote the common good and general welfare for all the people of Morris Plain. Amen. Amen. Notice to members of the governing body and borough staff, any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purpose of borough business. Approval of minutes, we have none. Approval of consent calendar.
Mayor, we have reports submitted for September 2023, Animal Control, Sanitarian, Building Inspector, Municipal Court, Police Department, Borough Clerk, Animal Licensing, Tax Collector, Treasurer, ticket fees. I'm sorry, ticket fees were April through September 2023. Resolution 2023-127 entitled Gift of Life, Inc. of New Jersey Raffle License Number 337-23. Resolution 2023-128 entitled Form of Resolution Requesting Approval of Items of Revenue and Appropriation NJSA 40A 4-87 AARP Community Challenge Grant. Resolution 2023-129 entitled Resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation NJSA 40A 4-87 Municipal Alliance Grant. Resolution 2023-130 entitled Resolution in support of Senate Bill 3739, delaying the fourth round of affordable housing obligations from July 1st, 2025 to July 1st, 2028. Having polled the council on October 13th, 2023, that a filming permit was issued to Lion Television for use of a portion of the recreation area 51 Jim Fear Drive on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. The building department be authorized to advertise for the position of part-time plumbing inspector. The borough treasurer be authorized to advertise for the receipt of bids for trade tree work with bids to be received on Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, up to 10:30 a.m. in the council chambers. Having received a quote for purchase and installation of cameras at the Department of Public Works, 10 Borough Terrace, from Pack Talk, 163 Stuyvesant Avenue, Lyndhurst, New Jersey, 07071, Bergen County Co-op vendor, that a purchase order be issued in the amount of $14,898. Borough Council authorized the release and return of engineering review and inspection fees in the amount of $329.80 to Palazzo Landscaping, 47 Carroll Road, Randolph, New Jersey, for road opening number 988 per the Borough Engineer's correspondence dated October 19th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Burton.
Yes.
Mr. Cortez.
Yes.
Ms. Goddard.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Bergen.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's always good to see you, and especially, we have special guests here today with us this evening. It's Cub Scout Pack number 233 from Morris Place. Let's give them a round of applause. I understand you had a tour of the building, right? Who wants to get up and say what you saw and who you had a tour with? How about the Scoutmaster? There you go.
They were very talkative early, so I think they're just tired.
Okay, that's probably it. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you very much. We had a wonderful tour of the fire station. Guys are fantastic, and a great tour of the police station. Thank you so much. I think the kids had a great time. We got some good pictures, and they did ask a lot of questions in both places. So thank you very much.
You have a little better idea of what the police and fire guys do now and how much equipment and training that they need to know how to use it all, right?
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff.
And I'm sorry, just so you know, one of the reasons why we're here is because they're learning about the government and the importance of how governments are run in different communities by obeying laws and different groups of people running different organizations, and which is perfect.
Fantastic.
So this is great.
We're going to give you another little
Thank you.
quick lesson here, and that was my next question. Really, is this for a badge or just coming out to see how government works?
This is part of their AOL requirement.
Very good.
So in order for them to cross over to Boy Scouts, this is one of their requirements to learn about.
So we're going to go around the room. You have quite a bunch of people here. You picked a good meeting to come to. Our engineers here tonight and a couple of other people that aren't normally here. So we're going to go around the room. Everybody's going to tell you what their role is here on the council. We'll start with Mr. Cortez.
Okay, welcome. And it's Sal Cortez, I'm a councilman here, and I oversee the finance department. So finance has to do with money. So I oversee the tax office, I oversee the tax collector, and on top of that, there's also the Plains Talk, there's a library, oversee the elections. There's our clerk there, she's also gonna tell you what she does. And in my committee, I serve with Councilman Goddard and Councilman Kelly. They're dynamic and they help us come up with great ideas. At the present time, we're going over the personnel manual. Personnel manual, and I wanna make it quick. It tells the employees what they can and what they can't do, more importantly. The respect at the job site, etc. And that has to be updated almost every other year, every year. The more you do it, the better the borough runs. So that's about it. You guys have any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Moving on to Art.
My neighbor Brian is a Kaiser City. Welcome everybody. I am liaison to buildings and grounds. You guys might have swam at the community pool. We make sure that's all up and running. We work closely with Councilwoman Goddard. She runs or is the liaison to the DPW. One of our employees back there, sorry to embarrass you, but Mr. Osborne back there, he's done a great job helping us with that. So lights out, door needs oil for the squeaking, whatever we need to do. Public parks, you guys have seen you over at, I'm sure, Simon's Park playing basketball, soccer, make sure the fields are in good shape for you guys. Again, thanks to a lot of work with the DPW. Matt just does all by himself. Shade Tree Commission, if there's trees that need trimming or removal, we plant new town trees. It's the recreation, they do a lot of the, like the committee, but we have the Halloween parade coming up and the bonfire, they'll organize that. So some fun stuff. It's a little more fun than Mr. Cortez's.
We have Councilwoman Nancy Bergen next.
I am Nancy Verga, and right now, I am assigned to the Committee for Public Safety. So that's kind of what you looked at today, the fire department, the police department. We have a fire prevention official who goes around and makes sure that people are safe with their smoke detectors and their fire extinguishers. He inspects our businesses in town to make sure that they're doing things safely when they're cooking. He gives education at the school. You probably saw some of the officers from fire prevention come and teach you about how to get out if there's a fire and those types of things. I'm also the liaison to the court. We have our own court here, so when the police write tickets, people have to go to a court session, or for various infractions, they go to the court session here. Now it's all virtual online. So I'm the liaison to that, and also the traffic committee. So we have a group of volunteers and the police chief and some of our professionals who meet to talk about traffic and how to make it safer for pedestrians and bikes. We can't really make the traffic go away, but what can we do to make our streets safer and alleviate some of the problems with visibility and things like that. So we met this week. I'm going to report out on that. So what we do is we have our meetings and then we come back and we report it here to the public, so you all know what's going on in our various departments. One of the other responsibilities I have is Office of Emergency Management. So the chief also heads that group, and so you'll see us report out later on in the meeting on the things that we've learned from our various committee responsibilities.
Thank you. We have our borough attorney today too.
Hi guys, so my name's John Duran. As the mayor indicates, I am the borough attorney. And that's what it sounds like. I'm a lawyer. And every time this board up here, all these people up here, sometimes they change laws, sometimes they do things to help you guys, and to help mom and dad and residents of the town. But whenever they do something, a lot of times something has to be put in writing so that we remember it next year or the year after. And one of the things I do is I do all of those writings, and we keep those writings on file, and I make sure that those writings are good, and that they're legal, and that we're not gonna have any problems up here. So that's one of the things I do. And then sometimes, although it's very rare, sometimes when we have to go to court for something up here, I'm the guy who goes to court, like the lawyers that you see on TV. I go to court. So that's something else that I do up here. That's pretty much it. But my job up here is to protect this board, to protect this borough, and help these people, help mom and dad and you guys, so that the town remains top notch.
Thank you. Dennis? First I want to say, Rob, thank you for bringing the boys in and your volunteers of many years. How long you been doing this?
I think 6 years now.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I am chair of the Ordinances and Public Utilities. Sounds kind of boring. It's actually kind of interesting. Ordinances, the state has its statutes. Municipalities like Morris Plains, we have our ordinances, like our laws, right? So on the books are things like how tall you can build a fence, how loud you can play your music, or what time you can play it until, how big you can build a deck outside your house, how long you can park on some of our streets. So it has everything to do with the laws of Morris Plains, right? And then I also work with our subcode officials and our inspectors who go around and inspect the homes that may be having an addition or doing some home improvements. And then I also work with the liaisons of all our public utilities, JCP&L for electric, PSE&G for gas, Verizon. So when you're driving around or you see a street light out, you would call the borough clerk and ask for Mayor Jason Carr, and he would call the clerk. She would direct that phone call to me, and I work with the liaison to get street lights turned back on. So it's that type of stuff. So it's fun. I enjoy it.
Joe.
Hi everybody, I'm Joan Goddard, and I see a lot of familiar faces over there from the farmer's market. When you guys are selling popcorn and different things. You guys are, one day I was watching and seeing how you were going out and talking to all the potential customers and bringing them over and having them buy popcorn, so you guys are doing a great job. What I would say is I think that I'm on the best committee because I'm in charge of helping to keep the borough beautiful. And a lot of that is with Public Works and DPW, shout out to Mack. And that's everything from the leaf pickup to, like when you get that, your mom or dad might get that call that school's canceled and you hear that snowplow. Well, you're sleeping and they're out there clearing our roads and making sure that everything's safe for all the residents. Sewer maintenance, so you never have to worry about that stuff. Getting the pool ready each season. There's a lot of work, like weeks and weeks of work that goes in before opening day at the pool. But everything that they do is to help the residents and make this a better place to live and play. In addition, I manage the beautification. So it's a group of volunteers that are responsible for over 19 plots across the borough. And they're all volunteers that essentially own a plot. And they'll pick the different types of plants and flowers and different things that they want to put there, and then they maintain it throughout the entire season. So it's a really dedicated team, and it's really what makes the borough a special place. Then the other thing, as I mentioned earlier with the farmers market, both Nancy, Mrs. Verga, Mr. Wagner, and I, we volunteer with Mike Cochio, who is our market manager, to help out at the farmers market. So we really enjoy doing that. But one thing that I would say is that all of us up here really work together. Nobody's kind of on their own, just managing. We really rely on each other for everybody's different expertise. We work as a collaborative team, and we really learn a lot from each other.
Kathy?
Yes, hi guys. Tell everybody what grade you're in. Fifth grade, okay, great. One of the things I do, I am public health, sanitation, and sewers. Doesn't sound very good, does it? But it's fun, very interesting. And she makes the town beautiful. I help keep it clean. Okay, because we are doing clean communities. We have a new person who's going to be with our clean communities this year. And his name is Mr. James Marandino. You may know him. He lives in Morris Plains. And he has many groups, and I'm sure you're going to be a group that helps clean up a special area in Morris Plains. And that's what we count on you for. I think, well, Mr. Davies might have something in mind, and I hope.
I just say,
Good to see you,
wow.
Rob. Thanks for bringing them. Some of the other things I do are sanitation, Board of Health, Teen Center. Are you almost teenagers? Next year, you'll be sixth graders, right? You'll be able to come to the Teen Center, which is, we have a lot of events that we plan for the sixth, seventh, and eighth graders who come to Teen Center. And you'll find out about it at the end of this year. I also do recycling, Board of Health, animal control, and for animal control, if you see an animal that you think is wounded, or there's a strange animal in your yard, or you find something that needs help, an animal that needs help, we have a committee, a town service that makes sure they take care of the animals that you may find, or you may be bitten by an animal, and you would call our animal control service. Sanitation, clean communities, recycling. Have you helped out at recycling yet? Oh, good. So maybe I'll see you there. You let me know when you're going to be there. I'll come up and spend the morning with you. I appreciate you coming here. I have my town council hat on today, and you've seen me with my substitute hat. I'd like you to know that Mrs. Verga and Mrs. Goddard are on my committee, and I'm the chairman of that Public Health, Sanitation, and Sewers. Thanks for coming.
Chief?
They already heard my spiel downstairs for half an hour while we were giving the tour, so.
Okay, that's good.
We talked about how I started in Cub Scouts, and that's kind of what led me to a life in public service, so they're well versed in everything from the police department, from the holding cell to the dispatch room, so.
That'd be good.
What'd you get? What'd you get from the chief? Badges and frisbees, right?
Everything, thanks.
What'd the fire department give you, Mr. Bruce? We'll get you something. We'll get you something.
Did the chief tell you? I'm sure he did, but did he tell you that he was an Eagle Scout? He is an Eagle Scout, right? So something to look forward to being a chief someday. Did you ask him for a PBA card? Ride your e-scooters too fast, that PBA card.
7 years. Florida.
Leon Hall is our engineer. Leon.
Hi everyone, my name is Leon Hall, I'm the Borough Engineer. I serve at the pleasure of the Mayor and Council. I get reappointed once a year, usually in early January. My duties include giving the council engineering guidance and opinions when necessary. I also assist the planner when ordinances are created and developed in conjunction with the planning department. I also work on behalf of the Planning Board and the Board of Adjustment to hear development applications and variance applications. Those are the approvals that permit the development that you currently see in town now, up on Route 53, that large townhouse development, and over on the American Road. Another part of my job is once the developments are approved, I have to oversee the construction to make sure it's done in accordance with the ordinances, and it's done in accordance with the signed file plans. That's a big part of my job. It's one thing to approve a development, and it's another thing to build it out. I also prepare public contracts for road paving improvements. If your street got paved this summer, you probably saw me out there. I usually go out to the roads every single day. I have a man out there every day inspecting the improvements. I also prepare contracts for any upgrades to the sanitary sewer pump stations, and occasionally a major improvement to your recreational facilities. I think that's it. That's what I do.
And Roseanne is our borough clerk.
I am Roseanne Bennett, the borough clerk. I oversee the day-to-day clerical function of the mayor's office, work closely with the mayor, council, engineer, the police, and many other departments. I'm also secretary to the mayor and council. I oversee the meetings. I'm recording the meeting as we speak right now. I'm also the official record keeper. I keep all the records, the ordinances, agreements, all the records of the borough we have. We also accept applications and issue applications, licenses, permits, animal licensing, marriage licenses, just to name a few. And I'm also the borough's election officer, and I'm currently working on the upcoming election, which we're having in 2 weeks. So if your parents go vote, have them take you, and you can see how our council and mayors get elected.
Thank you. Now the best, you know, they always save the best for last, right? That's what you think. My job is, my name is Jason, I'm the mayor here, and my job is to manage all of this. The council votes on things, but I am in direct contact with them, my police chief, the engineer, and the borough clerk daily, and the borough attorney, if not hourly sometimes, but it's a big undertaking, but it's something that I enjoy doing. I love doing it, and seeing the borough thrive, and having organizations like the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts thrive and have members, and being able to tour the building and see what's out there and what keeps you safe, and volunteers that it really takes to keep the whole town running. So it's a position I love to do, and it's more of a manager's job than anything else. So we're happy to have you here today, and you picked a good meeting. We have some things that we've gone over, and I think you'll learn a lot. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Questions? Very good. We do, let me see, where do I have more paper? Public invitation for discussion. Anybody want to address the council? Stand forward, state your name and address, and your concern. Or compliment.
Or both.
Or both.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to the council for agreeing to
You have to say your
the...
name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bill Greco, 9 Higby Way. Thank you. Thank you for approving the additional lighting on the pathway American Road to the train station in downtown Morris Plains. Now, in talking with Dennis Sunday at the Rotary Breakfast, he indicated there was a little bit of an issue with PSE&G with the lighting. So I'm holding the mayor accountable when he said that the lighting that the borough will provide will be better than the lighting that Lennar provided.
Absolutely.
Okay, you got it.
And it's on record too, Bill, so
Pardon me?
it's on record now too, so
Okay,
you really backed
perfect.
me into a corner, huh?
Perfect. I would like to commend the council on the approval of the changes to the planning, the planning for downtown, the borough, to enable additional businesses or to fill the empty stores, I should say, in Morris Plains, in the borough of Morris Plains. I commend you for that. My only concern is, last meeting that I attended, I believe his name was Mr. Rogers. He brought up some concerns with regard to warehousing and manufacturing. My suggestion is, my understanding that the state will be mandating or approving what they provide in terms of planning for the entire state. Wouldn't it be wise to wait until the state provides what their planning ideas are, and then the borough can act accordingly in making whatever changes?
I do agree with you. I think we had that discussion earlier
Okay.
at one of our earlier sessions, and I think that's the intention, is to see what the state comes up with, and we will revisit that
Perfect.
in the future.
Perfect, I thank you.
Just for the record though, I just wanted to add, the state mandate is already out. It's a December 2022 guidance. What's coming next, which we expect in November, is a draft ordinance, like a template.
Right.
So the instructions are already out. What they're gonna be giving, providing each municipality is essentially that template. So-
Okay.
Yeah, but that wasn't a mandate that.
No, I know,
that
but I
came
just
out.
wanted
So it
that
wasn't
for the
Yeah,
record.
but it wasn't a mandate that came out from the state.
Right.
Well, that's what it said, so I'm just correcting it, and it is something that we will revisit
Okay.
in the future.
Okay, thank you. The other thing I would like some guidance on, and that is, I know Hanover Avenue is a county road. And I would like to know the proper, direction to go to add signs on the westbound side of Hanover Avenue stating American Road next left, and on the eastbound side, American Road next right. Is that the county, or can we do that?
That is the county there. They're actually supposed to be doing some work on the traffic signals over
Yeah.
there on American Road.
That's
At my
needed.
request from them, so that's been a long process. Sometime in November, that's supposed to happen. I can ask them about some signs.
We would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and, yeah, the signal lighting will be changed there.
Yeah, that's important.
The
because-
timing and whatnot. I know
Yeah.
it takes a long time to get in. They're sitting at the light, right, correct, coming out of American Road for
Yeah.
a long time, so that'll be changed.
Yeah, well, that's not really the issue. The issue is when you're making the left and merging onto Hanover.
The chief and I work with the county, and what they'll be doing is, there's that constant green light if you're going, eastbound on
Yes,
Hanover Avenue.
correct.
That light is always green.
Right.
So when the left-hand arrow coming out of American Road and you can make that turn.
Right.
To merge, that will flash yellow, just as a caution.
Perfect.
And then people hopefully adhere to that, just so that they know something else is happening.
Perfect. And on behalf of our community, which is Lennar venue at the American Road, I believe it's called, we thank you for your service.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anybody else? Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Rob Davies, 23 Kathleen Place, Gun Master for Pack 233. I just want to say thank you. I know all of you do a lot of work to help keep the community of caring running, and I know a lot of work goes into it, and that's what we've been learning about. So I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the Cub Scouts and all the support that you have given us over the years with farmers markets and park cleanups and all that stuff. You guys have been fantastic. So just wanted to say a big thank you.
Again, thank you for volunteering, and that's a big undertaking as well. And it takes everybody to make it all work, Dave, and that's and this is a big part of being Cub Master, helping these young guys out. So
Thank you.
we appreciate you. Thank you.
Can you guys all say a big thank you?
Thank you.
You're more than welcome, guys.
How about a round of applause?
Hello. I'm used to just sitting back there, but today I decided I would step up. Mary Ann Steckert, 17 Jakeway Avenue. So thanks for affording me the opportunity to give some feedback, some comments, and some compliments here. Some of you know this, but I moved to Morris Plains with my parents almost 40 years ago, and made the deliberate choice to stay in this town. Despite having spent the majority of my career in New York City, I never once considered leaving Morris Plains for the city. That's how profoundly special this town is to me, and that's why I'm here today. Morris Plains possesses something really, truly unique, a rare sense of community that treats everyone with respect and equality. Our dedicated elected officials and resident volunteers work tirelessly to create a thriving community for our children, veterans, seniors, and all residents. One that we can take pride in, and one that sets us apart. Some are inclined to disregard the efforts of our former and current committees, councils, and mayors, but how can they do that when their safeguards and initiatives have contributed to making Morris Plains so appealing to our newer residents? The recent disagreement among the council regarding the zoning ordinance honestly is disheartening. Voting against it feels like discarding something valuable along with the unnecessary. The committee, in my opinion, showed great thoughtfulness in their consideration of these changes. No one claimed it was flawless. I feel their actions were guided by the best interests of Morris Plains residents. To me, voting no reflects a lack of trust and faith in the process and the public servants involved. When Mon sought to establish a presence in our town, the process worked, despite an outdated plan. The committees did their jobs and protected Morris Plains. So why has that trust changed? I wholeheartedly support the endeavors of our town committees and wish to express my gratitude to them. I also wish to commend those who voted in favor of the ordinance. I firmly believe they have the best interests of Morris Plains at the forefront of their decision making. And I'm hoping that we can all show a united front going forward, because we have something special, and I would hate for this town to be stripped of our character and to not be set apart from a lot of other towns in our communities. So with that, thank you for listening. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everything and what everybody does. And that's why I keep coming back to this, and I really appreciate this council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Seeing nobody, I'll close the public portion, but I just want to read something about the deed. I think you came about the deed that was discussed last week. This is a memo from our planning board attorney, Andy Brewer, who was here last week, about that deed. In April of 2016, Mack-Cali filed a deed of restriction related to Block 171, lots 1.01 and 38, which restricts the property from development for residential uses. This deed restriction was imposed as a condition of the planning board approval. The reasons behind the restriction and protection it was intended to provide would reflect in the planning board's resolution and files. It is important to note that there are different impacts to the community from a development of single-family homes, townhomes, and multi-family apartment buildings, all of which are classified as residential uses. The enforceability of the deed restriction against a potential future development that is arguably described as residential would depend on whether that particular development gave rise to the harm sought to be avoided by deed restriction. Finally, the deed restriction was imposed for the benefit of the borough as well as the citizens of the borough, thus providing residents of the borough with the same right to enforce its terms as the borough should they deem it appropriate. Moving on to reports of committees and/or department heads. Finance, Mr. Quinn.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everybody. It's good to see a big audience. We'll start off with the second one, the library. There's a second reading or story time going on the first Saturday of every month. And it started on October 7th at 10:30, and it's going to be a good turnout. As far as finance, we got an actually good score. There's what's called best practices, and that kind of like you want to follow this brochure or flow chart, whatever you want to call that. And it's the best way to keep in line with what's going on and also stay in tune and find ways to merge or work with other towns to save money for the taxpayers. And best practices has all that and more. I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to keep you too long. But I have to say, out of the 42 points that you can get, Morris Plains got a 39.5. And I just want to, that is great. All of us, because, you know, we are the community. We had some double ARP funds, and we spent it on improvements to road and crosswalks. But that was always very nice that we were able to get that. And from the clerk's office, the employee medical group enrollment started. And you guys see it on TV all the time. It's that time of year. You see all the commercials for that. They've been preparing for the upcoming election and preparing for the League Professional Service Agreement. And also with the league, we have a big reunion down in Atlantic City. So that's, keeps the office very busy. And on my committee, I just wanna thank Joan and, Councilwoman Joan Goddard and Kelly, working with me on the personnel manual. That is it's a phone book. And we have to go through it page by page and make sure that we, again, bring it to the year 2023. And we put a lot of hours into it. We have a final meeting on the 23rd, and hopefully we can wrap that up by and have that, God willing, by the November 5th meeting. We will do our best with the attorneys, with the writing, and everything else. But reporting to the council, we'll keep you also informed after that 23rd meeting with changes for your input also, if anybody that has any, that wants to say something. And I think that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public safety, Nancy.
Yep, absolutely. We had a traffic committee meeting on October 17th, Tuesday. All members were present. We, earlier this year, had walked the town and looked at some of the signs to see what ones were worn out, need to be replaced or repainted or moved higher or lower. And so we went through that list to see which ones have been replaced, and many of them have been through the DPW's help. They've been helping us to go through that list and check those off. We discussed parking complaints at new residential complexes on American Way and Veterans Way and some various solutions. We discussed recent issues that were brought up here at this last meeting about site obstruction, blocking the box due to traffic backups, and different ways that we can address those concerns other than making the traffic go away, which is impossible. What we can do to help reduce crashes overall and improve the traffic flow, light timing, and such like that. We also discussed the action items that came out of a municipal transportation forum that we attended earlier this year. And that meeting focused on the state's goal of Vision Zero, that's what it's called. And that means their goal is 0 traffic fatalities. It sounds like a pipe dream, but this is a serious goal that they have, and they have proven methods to accomplish it. So we're looking at various ways that the borough can implement some of them. We're going to be reviewing and evaluating something called a complete street policy that Morris Township is adopting, just to look at what is a best practice and what other towns are doing, whether or not it's appropriate for Morris Plains. From our court administrator, Sarah Thornberry, reported that the municipal court has held 28 sessions for the year so far. They had 31 individuals scheduled on this last week for the court session. 11 were English-speaking cases, and then when someone needs a translator, they have that available with various languages. They had 2 French-speaking cases this week, a Russian-speaking case, Turkish, and Spanish. So of all the cases this week, we had 11 English and 18 various translation interpreters were needed. She also prepared the 2024 budget for the vicinage, which is the group of courts that we belong to. And she was asked to include numbers for the number of tickets and complaints we had from the previous year. So last year we had a total of 1,357 e-tickets issued, and this year 1,543. So we're up already this year a couple hundred, or almost. And then total criminal complaints filed in 2022 were 27, and so far this year 38 complaints. Our fire department chief Rondo is not able to be here, but we signed vouchers for portable radios and for testing of their air packs that they use to breathe during fire, and air packs and cylinders that they use for during fire work. And we have our police chief here to report from the police department.
Chief?
Good evening, everyone. The department's wearing pink patches this month to raise awareness for breast cancer, so you'll see many of our officers wearing pink patches. We also have those available for sale through our police department PBA, and the donations will be going to a worthy cause. Really event-filled couple weeks coming up. The prescription drug take back is back at Super Stop and Shop on Saturday, October 28th. You can get rid of unwanted or expired medications, keep them out of the hands of young people, or dispose of safely to protect our environment. So our officers will be down there. We're actively working on the Halloween parade. We'll have 2 officers out on bike patrol, staying after the parade to pedal their way through our neighborhood, make sure our trick-or-treaters are nice and safe. We're going to be in attendance at the bonfire, at the pumpkin illumination, where we'll have a table with Halloween decorations and displays for the kids, we're working on the Education Foundation 5K run coming up in November. So very busy time for us in the fall. So that's all I have unless there's any comments, questions, or concerns.
Just at the bonfire, just open up the car so the kids can see.
Will do, that's the plan.
Very good. Public Works, Joan.
So just have a few updates. I mentioned in our last meeting that we were working with, we received a grant from New Jersey Department of Agriculture for the spotted lanternflies. So we awarded the business to a vendor, and they're working directly with the DPW to address this problem. So we're focusing right now on the Court Road area. There's a lot of tree of heaven there. It's basically almost like a palm-like tree, so it doesn't look like it's anything invasive, but it is. And that's actually a host for the spotted lanternfly. So we're working on cutting them down, administering the herbicide that we have based on the grant funding, and we'll be doing that over the next, probably into the fall, because it's a process. The fruit needs to die, and then they're able to clear the whole area. And then we'll be looking to reignite this back in 2024 before they come out in the springtime. Another thing that we're working on is our DPW contract. We're going to be renewing that for the next 3 years. I'm working directly with Councilman Wagner and Councilman Brood on that. We have a meeting on the 25th, so more to come on that. And there's just a few things that the DPW does around town, as I mentioned earlier. They began the leaf pickup, so you'll see them having to do that. They completed the brush pickup. They fixed the tennis court gate at Community Park. They removed the aerators on Community Park Pond. They're assisting in the hydro raking at Watnut Pond. I don't know if you saw that, but they just started that the other day. What was that?
Looks like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there, okay.
It works.
It works. But it looks like a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Boat with a it's wonderful.
And then they sadly closed the Community Park pool for good for the season, but it was a great season, right, Councilman Brown?
That's correct.
Yeah. And they repaired the fences and gates at Simon's Park. So a little bit of everything, but once again, it's all to keep our borough beautiful.
Leo.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have much tonight. I'm just giving you an update of the developments. First, the Leonard development on Route 53. There is only one more building left out there to CO. I gave the developer a fairly substantial punch list and completion list of all the improvements. That list was given to him back in September. So there is now a push on out there to wrap up all the construction, get the maintenance guarantee in place, and other administrative requirements in order for that last CO and that last building to issue. Regarding the Leonard development over the American Road, there's only 3 buildings left out there to CO. All the other buildings have been completed. That last building will probably come due for a CO probably in March or April of next year, and that development will be done. The other development I want to report on is the warehouse development on Route 53, which is on the other side of Route 53 as you travel north. It's on the right side. I did lay my eyes on an NJ DOT permit that the developer was waiting for. I suspect that permit will be in his hands in the next couple of weeks. Once that permit is issued officially, and then Mr. Oran has to approve the developer's agreement, which I think is also imminent. Once those 2 things are done, it will be time to hold a pre-construction meeting with the general contractor and the site contractor. So my guess is I think you'll see activity on that site in maybe the next 2 or 3 months. So I think that's going to go. And I'll let Dennis update the mayor, council, and the public about the planning board meeting this past Monday. And I believe that's it.
Thank you. Public Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Broom.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of reminders. The bonfire, which I mentioned earlier, and the chief mentioned, it's the 28th from 6 to 9 p.m. And then the Morris Plains Fire Association Recreation, with the assistance of the police department and DPW, will have the Halloween parade, which starts at Roberts Garden at 4 p.m. That's rain or shine. And it's not, just a reminder of the Halloween window painting. I'm sure you guys get involved in that. It's a lot of fun. It's the 20th. And then the next recreation meeting is the 26th at 7:30, and then the shade tree next meeting is the 6th. That's all I have.
No, window painting was canceled.
Oh,
It's 27.
Rescheduled.
Rescheduled.
27.
thank you.
Something called rain, believe it or not.
27th, right.
Thank you. Public health, sanitation, and sewage, Kathy.
Yes, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm gonna run down there for a second. Specifically, this is for everybody, but I wanna show the Cub Scouts something that I just learned. And it's already been published, by the MUA. The MUA is the Municipal Utilities Authority, and they help with our recycling. They give us rules and all those kinds of things. What's that? I'm showing you, I came early, so you can see it. What is it? It's just a bottle cap. What are you gonna do with it when you finish your bottle of water?
Recycle it.
Where? How?
The recycling, recycling facility.
Good. Recycling bin you might have at your home. This is too small. Don't put it in your recycling at home. The plastic, you have to put this in the trash, and I just learned that. But it's already been published. Why I didn't know it, I don't know. These are too small because the shaker with the glass and the things that go on top, these are too small. When the machine shakes to separate things, these go through the holes and get with the glass. And when they melt the glass, this gets melted with it, so it kind of ruins the whole thing. So I just thought you'd like knowing that. I thought it was pretty cool. Okay? Also, I already talked about the clean communities that you're going to be doing with our new James Marandino. He's already sent on emails. I hope you've gotten them, and I hope you're setting something up. And we should be seeing people out cleaning up our town on the end of October, which is almost now, and in November. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, Municipal Alliance had a wellness day last Saturday. And I was responsible for the Municipal Alliance table at the wellness day. It's the first time I've done the table, and the things I had to show people were, I talked about this 2 weeks ago. These cards that show what real drugs look like and what the fentanyl-laced drugs look like. So this was on the tables, and I brought some with me tonight in case you want to get some before you leave tonight. And also the books for the parents on parenting guides, actually. And I also went over this a little bit, but I have extras, so I brought those also. I thought you'd be interested in reading them. The books were from a grant from the state, and the books are at the Morris Plains Library on a parenting shelf. So visit the shelf and try some of the books. They're good. And that's all I have, sir.
Good, thank you. Dennis, ordinance and public utility.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Carr asked me to reach out to our liaison. There are some pretty antiquated poles on Valley Stream Circle, so that conversation has started, which, not promising anything from Verizon, but at least the conversation.
The only thing you
started.
gotta worry about, Dennis, is Mr. Greco's lights over there. That's all you gotta worry about right now.
Absolutely, yeah. But the conversation has begun, so they are pretty antiquated. Also, a reminder about our holiday market on Saturday, December 2nd. All the usual great vendors, plus some extra craft vendors, face painter, etc. So that should be a great day for us. Let's keep our fingers crossed with the weather. As Leon mentioned, this past Monday at the planning board meeting, excuse me, there were 2 applications up for completeness. One was Planning Board 4-23, Planning Board 5-23. Has to do with the Weichert development out there on Littleton Road and Route 10. The other one was a subdivision up on the east side of 53, the warehouse development. Both applications were deemed incomplete by our borough professional professionals and the board. However, for our November 20th meeting, if they submit the issues that need to be resolved in a timely fashion on our November 20th meeting, we will review for completeness, as well as the public hearing on that same day, to keep things moving forward a bit. So we're keeping our fingers crossed as well. And that's it.
Okay. We got about 5 or 10 more minutes if you guys can hold out. So, I should have brought this up when Joan was talking, but George Ross, our community garden coordinator, has retired. I just wanted to read a little bit about George. So, George had the vision and was the inspiration and designer of our community garden. He started 14 years ago to get more people involved in his lifetime hobby. He looked over the town for the right combination of space, sun, and water. Part of the Greystone site on Central Avenue, which the town had purchased, was finally selected. With the help of DPW, the site was cleared. The county was contacted, and the farmer from Foster Fields brought a tractor and tiller to the site and worked over the area. With the help of the DPW and the Sheriff's SLAP program at the time, a multitude of rocks were removed. An 8-foot high deer fence was installed above the ground. A 2-foot rabbit, groundhog, and general critter fence was installed below the ground. George laid out the plots and provided numbers for each. The DPW was able to bring water to the garden. He set up the rules and the application for potential gardeners. The garden was so popular it expanded 3 times over the coming years. A number of people donate produce to nonprofit charities every year. I believe the borough owes George a debt of gratitude and recognition for everything he has done over the past 14 years. So, George, thank you very much. On behalf of the borough, I know he's not here, but we really do appreciate your time and effort in that endeavor that you took on, and it certainly is a great addition to the borough. And Lynn Schunzel will be taking his place, so best of luck to her as well. We have no presentations of communications or petitions. We have no introductions of ordinances. We have no ordinances on second reading. We have no resolutions. We have no unfinished business. We do have new business that we did, I think Sal touched on a little bit, is our best practices. Like I said, we scored 39.5 out of possible 42, which is very good. This all has to do with our state aid, complying with some of the rules and regulations of the state, and our state aid is in excess of $650,000, so we want to make sure that we get the best scores that we possibly can. I think 39.5 out of 42 is a pretty darn good score. So, any questions?
I just have one more thing to say that I forgot, the most important thing. Okay, the little white caps. You know, you can't put those in recycling anymore. But how big does the cap have to be that you can put in? Do you know the size of a yogurt top? About like that. It has to be that big. That was the most important part of what I wanted to tell you. Forgot. Sorry. Okay, so at least that big. That goes in recycling. We're good? Thank you.
Any questions on best practices? If not, we'll move on to vouchers. Mr. Cortez?
Thank you again, Mayor. Okay, I just received the checklist dated October 19th, 2023 for the grand total of $1,372,030.35.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dennis. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Mr. Cortez.
Yes.
Ms. Goddard.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Berga.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are going to need an executive session, but before we do that, I'd just like to have the guys want to come up and stand in the front, and somebody can take the picture. That's to prove that you were here. Right? Stand up here in front of the council.
Get in there, Mayor.
Nah, you get in there, Rob. Get in there, Rob. We'll take a picture. Okay. I know you can't put this on your shirt, but here's some Chick-fil-A cards for you guys. No, everybody gets their own. Here you go. No, everybody gets their own. Here you go. Here you go. And that's for the, oh, you left. So one left, all right? Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out, okay? All right. Best of luck moving forward. Maybe you'll be an Eagle Scout.
Hey,
like
Art.
Chief.
I know you just got bigger. But I know you just got bigger from the fire department.
Thank you.
You can read this. Thank you again, everybody, for coming out. Thank you.
Be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Morris Plains on the 19th day of October 2023, prior to the conclusion of this regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Morris Plains. This regular meeting will be open to the public. The Mayor and Borough Council shall hold an executive session from which the public shall be excluded to discuss matters as permitted pursuant to NJSA 10 or 12, subsection B 8, personnel matters. Time when the matters discussed pursuant to paragraph 1 hereof may be disclosed to the public as soon as practicable after the final resolution after said matter.